Hey everybody, Al from Doth here, and you're watching CMS TV.
Well, here's a guy that's definitely not selling his soul to Satan because he is a good liberal. George Lynch.
Okay.
After announcing the end of the Lynch Mob, he says his new band, George Lynch and the Mob, will feature a rotating lineup of musicians.
Okay.
So according to that headline, it's business as usual.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't had a steady lineup and I don't know since when. I mean, every
the
time,
first version of Robert Mason or Oni rather, or the second incarnation. When was the longest that Oni stayed? The second incarnation? Because Oni's been in and out like 3 times, right?
Yeah. Well, he was as the original guy. Then Robert Mason came in.
Right.
Then Lynch Mob ceased to exist for a while. And then they came back, and then they had Andrew Freeman, I think, sang with them.
I think he was in there for a minute, sure.
And then Oni came back, and then he left, and then then they had somebody else sing, and then Oni came back. He actually did that re-evolution with Robert Mason. So Robert Mason actually had come back at some point,
right,
for a short time.
All right, just for fun, would you like to hear the names of all the people that have been in the Lynch Mob?
There's probably a list of at least 35 people.
Well, let's see, shall we? You keep count, I'll just read them.
All right.
Current lineup: George Lynch, Jimmy DeAnda, Gabriel Colon, and Jaron Galino. You know all those guys, right?
I do know all those guys.
Okay. So now let's get to the other guys. Oni Logan has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stints in the band.
Okay.
He was in the band from 89 to 91, then in 98, then in 2001, then 2008 to 2011, then 2012 to 2013, then 2014 to 2018, and then again in 2020. Coming in next at lead vocal, we have Andrew Freeman, who has had 3 stints in the band, believe it or not.
Yep.
2003, 2010, and 2019. Next up, Robert Mason, 3 stints in the band.
Right.
Keith St. John, the lead singer of Montrose now.
Right.
He had 2 stints in the band. John West, he had a stint in the band. Remember John West?
Yep, I do.
How about Kirk Harper?
Does ring a bell.
1999. He's probably the rap guy. If I had to guess, because 99, probably. That would have been Lynch Biscuit, right?
You're probably right.
So he's probably the rapper guy. Of course, there was also on lead vocals, there was Christopher C. Romero. Remember him? I do not either. 2011.
No.
Guy we know, Chaz West.
Yeah.
2011, 2012. Nathan Utz, 2018 to 2019.
Okay.
So that's the end of the lead singers. Let's move on to bass players, shall we? Got Anthony Esposito with 3 trips into the band. Gabe Rosales, he was in there in 99. Martin Anderson, 2 trips into the band. Marco Mendoza for a couple of years. James Lamenzo for a year. Michael Devon, 2 stints in the band. Kevin Baldez, 2013 to 2015. He, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is also in the band The Project that Eric is doing the song with, I think. Jeff Pilson, 2015. Sean McNabb, 2015 to 2019. And that's the end of the bass players.
Okay.
Then we got drummers.
Oh, wait a minute. Robbie Crane was in there.
Oh yeah, he's down at the bottom.
Okay.
He made an appearance, but he's not in order. Robbie Crane is also in there.
Yes.
So add one more.
Okay.
So now let's move to drummers. Wild McBrown, 3 stints in the band. Clancy McCarthy, 1999. Michael Frowine, 2000.
Frowen, yeah.
Frowen.
Mm-hmm.
Chaz Stumbo, 2003. John Macaluso, 2004. Vinny, is he a piece or Appice? He's Appice. Vinny Appice, 2005 to 2007. Tommy Aldridge, 2008. Fred Curry, 2008 to 2009. Scott Coogan, 2009 to 11, 11 to 12, 13, 14 to 15, and 18 to 19. Brian Tichy, 2010, 2012 to 13, 2015, 2020, 2025.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, Chris Akin Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the Locals.com app today and follow the CMS network.
And that's it.
Okay.
That is your Lynch Mob lineage.
All right.
How many do we got?
I believe that's 30.
30 guys in a band that had what, 2 hits?
2 hits.
2 hits, 30 guys vying for position.
So how does George Lynch and the Mob make any difference rather than being just Lynch Mob?
Well, if you don't want to get the full pay, then you change the name to the Mob so that you can be worth about 1/3 as much.
Right.
Don't you think?
Even though he'll have rotating players, which obviously he's had rotating players
forever
playing Dokken and Lynch Mob songs.
Mm-hmm.
What difference does it make?
Yeah, it makes no difference at all. This is one of those guys that thinks he's smarter than the crowd. I like George. He's always been nice to me, but he thinks he's smarter than the crowd. The crowd is not going to support Lynch Mob, the Mob, the way it supports Lynch Mob. It's just not going to do it.
And the Mob.
They're not going to care. And especially, correct me if I'm wrong on this, or if you think I'm just talking out my ass. Given the fact that he spent the last 3 years doing pop-ons with Dokken that are always advertised with special guest George Lynch, people aren't gonna think this is a full show. People are gonna see this name on a marquee and think that it's with somebody else because they're used to seeing him. When they see his full name, they're used to seeing it as like 3-4 song guy,
right?
Not Lynch Mob. So yeah, this is just it just seems dumb to me. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe after 45 years, the move is to just use his full name. Maybe that's the move. Maybe we don't have enough foresight for that. Oh my God. But at least nobody will be offended by the name, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't want anybody to be upset by Lynch Mob.
No, nobody will be upset because the Mob sounds so much better.
Exactly.
The Italians should be upset. Wouldn't that be something if a bunch of fucking people just boycotted them, a bunch of like gangsters?
Yeah.
If the the Galindo cartel or somebody came, or not Galindo, whatever cartels are left or gangster families are left. If they just showed up at one of his gigs in New York City and was like, we don't like being portrayed as the mob.
Yeah.
That would be fucking hilarious. Would he change the name again?
Yeah, he'll call it George Lynch and the Costa Nostra.
George Lynch and LM.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you, George.
Well, he didn't learn his lesson with Electric Freedom Band.
Should have stayed with that. At least by now we'd be sort of used to it. Now he's changing the name again. Why does he just use one of the other 15 names of bands? Souls a Wee or KXM or Microdot or any of the other stuff that he's done. Why does he just use that? He's at least established that, for good or for bad. Shadow Train. Does it matter? I mean, would it matter to you?
Well, it wouldn't matter to me, but again, going back to the Foreigner thing, it's name brand recognizing the name brand.
Well, are people going to recognize the mob?
No, they'll recognize Lynch Mob.
Yeah, they're not going to recognize George Lynch and the mob. They're going to wonder what the fuck that is. And promoters are going to say, yeah, we'll pay $1,500 for that.
So the question is does the Lynch Mob ever return?
Yes. Unless he's retiring, which it obviously doesn't seem like he is, Lynch Mob will absolutely be back.
Okay.
He'll do one round of this. He won't get paid. And he'll be like, fuck this. The only way I can get paid. And he'll make some libtard statement about, even though I understand the connotation now versus when I named the band, this is what my recognition is, blah, blah. He'll make some kind of bullshit. Some fucking dumb statement about the need to appease the probably 15 people in his whole career that have ever protested his shows.
Well, I've worked 35 years and, built this brand, and, by popular demand, the fans, want the Lynch Mob.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I could see if all his album covers had like a noose or something on them, then I could see making this change. But this dude, until he made the big stink about it, I'll be honest. And again, maybe this is white privilege, who knows? But as a white guy, I never thought about this as a, let's kill black people thing.
Well, again, certain people with a certain political and social bent see racism where none exists.
Yeah. Well, George is a lefty. So, well, good luck to George. I hope it works out well. I hope George Lynch and the mob is very successful.
It's the album that shocked the world, Judas Priest's Turbo. In 1986, when heavy metal embraced the glam of hair metal, Judas Priest followed suit, unleashing Turbo. It divided fans, rocked MTV, and sparked controversy that still echoes today. In Cause and Effect Turbo, Chris Akin dives deep into the making of this polarizing album, sharing insider stories and personal memories from that explosive era. Whether you loved it or you hated it, Turbo left its mark on heavy metal history. Relive the controversy. Get your copy now at chrisakin.net or on Amazon.